Welcome to Our Energy Matters with Anthony Manna and Dena Marie. Aloha.
Aloha, here we are. Once again, I read your book. I have been reading your book, Our Energy Matters. And each time we meet on Zoom, I write a piece and I read the piece that I write in relationship to your wisdom and the celestial arts that you practice. So I say to everyone today, I Gunder, I Yasam. Good day, good life to our Turkish viewers and listeners. Today's topic is, what is a crystal reading? And having just experienced that in my own life with Dena Marie, folks, allow me to lead you through a portal that opens to the sanctuary of Dena Marie's book titled Our Energy Matters, The Art of Crystal Reading, where soul, mind, heart seekers like me learn how to manifest their heartfelt intentions. Step over the threshold leading the way to the welcoming sanctuary, this domain illuminated by a caretaker's, Dena Marie's, inspired and inspiring teachings, rituals anointed by her healing grace, genuine heartfelt stories and testimonies of her seekers, her clients, needs and hopes about heartfelt loss, stark, stuck confusion, darkened memories of abuse and despondency laid bare at this healer's energized, fired up care and concerned, absolved by the crystals she has come to draw upon over time with her blessed practice of interpreting for folks, her clients, who choose sparkled stones, her crystals, their colors flooding with light, revealing the shapes and textures of her seeker's heart, mind, spirit, body, condition. That is their state of being. So enter the treasured sacrament of her book and discover the allure of her crystal's enlightenment, sparkling the way to spiritual health. In her book, she wrote, crystal readings are a way to discover more of yourself and the people you care about. That is, I just stopped at that and thought about it for a couple of hours. I am amazed at how much I know, she wrote, I know about an individual when they draw their crystals, as I did today, folks. And I am in awe when these simple techniques take a person to a higher level of knowing, understanding too. I should add, because that's what I found out today. My own, I should say, we met prior to this recording, and Dena Marie offered me a crystal reading. It was absolutely fabulous. Folks like me enter Dena Marie's Lady Grace's book and receive the sacrament of crystal color wakefulness sanctioned by life energy healing. So, Dena Marie, I turn to you, angelic guardian. Oh, I love that one. Mentor, healer. I call on you to describe the art of crystal reading. Describe, no. Better to say, enlighten our viewers and listeners with the journey you took to become a crystal reader and the process of reading the crystals chosen by your seekers, AKA your clients.
Wow. How long do we have? I love when you ask me questions and I get to go back and figure out how I got here, you know. I think it was given to me from above, one, because it's so different and no one else does it. So people say they've had a chakra reading. Well, they haven't had this because I invented it, unless I taught it to people, which I have a lot. But I think I was so enamored with books, you know. I just kept reading and reading. I got books on colors and books on intuition and books on the chakras and dream analysis, whatever it was. I couldn't get enough of it when my kids and I were staying home. I was a home mom and I sat and read while they were doing their naps. And then we would talk about it, our dreams, and I would do their color analysis, all these kids. And then I met a man. He's like, you should be a hypnotherapist. I'm like, what the heck's a hypnotherapist? And I always have 3. If something comes in 3s, I know I should investigate. So I got something in the mail from my favorite bookstore, Vision Quest, and it was a hypnotherapy group who met. And I'm like, okay, it's $5. I better show up, right? And I get there and everyone's dressed in weird costumes. And I'm like sitting in the parking lot going, I don't think I want to go in. And it was Halloween, so they were dressed up as a past life, or what they thought they were in a past life. And I get there and I see this woman, and I said, Bev, is that you? Because I used to teach aerobics, and she used to work with me, and I trained her, and she's a hypnotherapist. So basically, she pulled me in. I was a past life class, past life regression, hypnotherapy at that time, which I was really into past lives. So the synchronicities were there, and then I did that. And then when I set my office up as a hypnotherapist, I brought my rocks in. And they sat there, but I was a kids' rock game. I didn't think about adults. I just put them in my room, and we started playing the rock game. I had an office in a spa, and these women would just think I was so psychic. But really, it's the chakras. So for instance, today, your crown chakra was closed, and you had way too much energy here and here. And then you were missing the lower chakra, which is, your power, putting your foot down. And I think you're ruminating. You were thinking so much about so many things, and you haven't been able to exercise. And I think before I hurt my ankle, I was thinking too much and not exercising. And that's where you and I get those voices. They're not very good voices. So you and I, our meditation is exercise, and that's how we quiet our mind. And all it is finding that block, and they change daily, depending if I'm with my family, or I'm at work, or I'm driving my car. Of course, my chakra is going to be much different driving my car in traffic than walking in the woods. So it's even in the book. I had this very unhealthy male. And when he came to me after about 2 months, I said, where have you been? What have you been doing? Every chakra was aligned. He'd been walking in the woods. He had pine needles in his hair. And he quit a job and changed his lifestyle so he could be in nature more. And he had a brain tumor that eventually went away. I know that sounds crazy, but he just changed everything about his life. And he told me a lot of things he'd never told anybody before, and opened up that chakra. So it's all about opening closed chakras or blocked from abuse or trauma. But it started as a kid's game, me collecting rocks and my kids picking a rock and me telling them what it meant. And then it got to be a book because my clients wanted me to teach it, which is it's all given to me from above, It's not like I sat down and said, I'm going to invent a book that reads chakras. And even the back part, when the client said, who just reached out to me lately, said, I need a cheat sheet. She goes, Dena, I can't do it like you do it. I need a cheat sheet. So one day I'm exercising, and what happens? Light bulb, boom. That's what you get, is that cheat sheet.
Well, yeah, I mean, you talk about it in the book itself, but then in the back cover, chakra cheat sheet. And so I saw it come alive today because I chose crystals that you laid on the different colors. I had never, I kind of knew the connection, but this time it became so real to me, and it's so illuminating. And the way you say it in the quotation from your book about something so simple as this, can be very revealing. And it certainly was very revealing to me during what has become a very difficult week, and yes, I did the treadmill, but normally I do a lot of exercising, a lot of going outside, a lot of looking up and participating in the rhythm of nature, the music of nature, the dance of nature. And that's my best self, And
that's what you're missing, looking up, which we counted our blessings together. You're missing looking up. You're missing the sunshine and being outdoors. That's that root chakra and the solar plexus. And you're going through something that you don't really have a lot of power. You're just, helping people to get things done, but it's not something you can control. So right now, doing something that brings you joy is what you need to do.
Well, yeah. And one of the things that brings me joy is the fact that I'm working on a story. And the joy of that is I lost a whole section of that story. It disappeared into the world. But what's interesting about it is I'm reconstructing it, and I think it's getting fuller and richer.
There you go.
Yeah, that was a gift in a sense from the from the celestial guardians, or celestial guardians, you know, and it's different. It's become different. It's you know, so going there is the joy. Moving outside and just walking around. After all, this is springtime, and we're going to be moving into warm weather where I do my power walk through the woods in the morning, you know, and it's listening to those birds. I feel like because I feed birds a lot I have like 6 feeders, or 5 now. And I love watching them. And I think probably in my former life, I was a bird, or
Yeah.
in my future life, I want to be a bird.
Well, and it's the perspective of everything. You and I need to look more at birds, look up, and focus on the things that are working in our lives, and less about things we have no control over. And basically, I could say my ankle was a blessing because it set me back long enough to set up a class I've been talking about. And it just, you know, happened because I had the time to do it. So it was a blessing. It's perspective, the way we see things.
Yeah, there we go. Up to the when you point to your forehead like that, you're pointing to
brow chakra, your third
breath.
eye. Today I was reading in my book, this has always been my favorite chakra, you know, and it's daydreaming, it's pretending. And she's like, go back to that where you lose yourself in imagination, because that's what we keep this tuned up. Or me taking photos and looking for the light, you know, that kind of stuff. But right now, when you have so much in front of you that you do not want to see, you know, for some people, like my daughter, her daughter being sick again, she doesn't want to see that. She has all these things planned for the day. She turns on the news, it brings her down. All of a sudden she's thinking of her life as this miserable journey. Not that she's saying that, but she feels really sad enough to where she cried, because she doesn't see, you know, what is really happening in her life, because she's down and she's got her chakras are blocked, because she's super powerless over like what's going on in the world, and she wishes she had more power, but she doesn't. The only thing she has power over is her own health and her mental well-being, you know, and perspective, the way she's looking at it.
Yeah.
She was supposed to drive. She didn't want to drive. Now she doesn't have to. She gets to stay home. Perspective.
It's so cool. So today when you let's see, when I chose my crystals, 6 of them, I believe. 7. And then you place them, which I thought was fascinating to me. You place them, my crystals were certain colors, okay, and I was choosing randomly, and in a sense, I could say randomly, but I think it was with intention, and because they drew me. You know, that's the thing about the crystals that I think are so important. And then you place them on the cheat sheet, and that's when we began to talk about what you saw going on in my life, in my spirit, in my health.
And you and I could talk, because we talk open-heartedly about everything. And over a half-hour talk, we would have probably come to the conclusion that you've been thinking too much. But I can see it right away. When I taught kids how to do these readings, they would walk into my office after a client left, and they know it wow, that person really needs to get something off their chest, or that person's pissed off, right? And like, at a man. And I'm like, yep, that's exactly what we just talked about, you know. But that's what the beauty of it is. So easy, it's so much fun, and I'm so thrilled. You know, my purpose and my passion is to teach it. And I have so many counselors say, Dena, I got your book and your rocks in my room, and I do it with the kids, the rock readings, and it gives them so much insight, saves so much money and time, you know, because you don't know what a kid's thinking. It's super interesting.
It is very interesting. And I think the thing that I should point out to people who are watching us and listening to us is the fact that in your book, you teach people how to do this, which I thought was very important. It was the exploration of what, you know, you start by saying, be careful to choose the crystals that really matter to you and this type of thing. So I'm saying to you here, because time is marching on, I'm saying to you here, There's a wealth of knowledge you bear in connecting crystals to their unique characteristics, their nuanced energy, their enchanting significance on pages 26 and 27. I'm glad I wrote that down because I wanted to go back and look at it again.
Well,
And
and
then-
today was interesting because you did not pick any firestones. You didn't pick any yellow, and I'm like, oops, we got some stuff going on.
Oh gosh, yeah. In our next episode, let's explore the crystals' enchantment and the light they shed on chakra energy, and that's on page 26. And I
Oh, my
wrote,
book's better than me.
and I did something. I was not going to read this, but then we had such a nice conversation about, come on, Anthony, do your thing. You're a writer, so what? Just read it, and stop whatever. So I wrote.
Overthinking. You overthink.
Overthinking. I wrote, look up, she says. Look up, she claims. The sparked truth, sensual breeze, rush of sun slants, wonder of soul. Silent we are in primordial dust.
See?
Thank you. I mean,
You always lift my spirits, and it makes my heart sing. And that's how I can describe our conversations, where it just feels good. And anything that feels good, do that.
Do that. And I say to everyone, you want to move closer to Dena Marie's wisdom, then listen to her weekly radio show, Lift Your Spirits. And that's 11:50 a.m. KKNW on Friday mornings, 8 o'clock on the Pacific Coast. Now, what I like about that, it led me to say, also, folks, she's also very active on Facebook, startling photographs of her island that she lives on. And I think it's so precious that you share so many of those, because they lift my spirit. It reminds me of when I lived in Maine and I was so close to those coasts. I miss that. I grew up in New Jersey too, up close to the ocean. She also, in her Facebook, she also offers prayerful advice about self-care and self-health. And for example, she'll tune into a particular chakra and make it come alive by asking you, are you well? Are you feeling okay? Are you feel tied down? I mean, it just goes on and on. There's advice. And also you'll find out about her new free course. She's getting back into teaching, which she has done so often over the years, now after the pandemic, or let's say on gliding away a little bit from the pandemic, she's going to teach this class. Her website is denamarie.com. My website for an interview with Dena Marie is anthonymannabooks.com. MANNA. Go to my website's media section for my Podbean podcast interviews, and you'll see Dena Marie. And also, welcome to my website. My website, any of you out there who are interested in children, tweens, and teens, their reading and their writing, that's what my website is all about as well, is introducing people to the joy of reading and writing as children, tweens, and teens. And so we move forward, and we'll come together in a week's time and continue to talk about crystal reading.
Thank you, Anthony Manna. It's always a joy. It is a joy.
It is a joy. It's a joy for me too. So you take good care and heal that ankle. And
I'm gonna go look at flowers right now.
enjoy that very much. Okay. And we'll talk soon.
All right.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone.